When it comes to endurance sports, there are no shortages of weird things going on, especially in the triathlon and cycling world. From nipple erosion all the way to toilet dilemmas. Some issues more common than others. But today, all these weird and wonderful oddities are going to be exposed. I'm sorry guys, it had to be done at some point. So yeah, it's no longer a secret anymore. Let's just start right in the deep end with toileting. So, if you need a wee, it is extremely common. In fact, a lot of people will wee themselves on the bike. Yes, as they're moving, going forward, they're not going to stop, they're not going to pull their pants down, they're going to wee through their clothing. And no, we don't use nappies, incontinence pads, or catheters, despite what so many of you think. In fact, a shockingly number of people think that sort of people use those products. We don't. You just do it in the suit. It's not that deep. It means you're not going to chafe because you're not having to wear another sort of garment underneath your tri-suit, which yes, means you do go commando, but it just is so much easier. Put a little bit of sprinkle water over yourself. It doesn't smell, it dries, job done. It's just a way forward. Mark my words on that. And you know what? It's actually harder than you may realise and does actually take some practice to be able to condition your body to just wee on yourself, because it just goes against all sense of normality that you've been taught growing up. Now, if you need a number two, the majority of people will stop. However, every race, you see this especially in marathon events, there'll be people that run past with literal shit dripping down their leg, and this is usually in liquid form. Yep, sorry, that was probably too much information, but it's just the truth. The majority of the time though, this is not voluntary, and due to GI or stomach issues from poor race day nutrition. But there is a small proportion that will actually voluntarily do this and do it deliberately. Because basically, if you're in the front of the race, side by side someone, and it's a matter of winning or losing, if you stop to go to the toilet, the chances are you're not going to cross that line first. However, running long distances with literal shit in your pants is going to be extremely uncomfortable and will lead to chafing. So this has to be absolutely the last resort. So while we're on this topic, I thought I would just cover the inserting of heat sensors up your, yeah, you know what, your basically your bum. Now, the reason why athletes do this is because it allows you to get an accurate measurement of your body temperature, and this is great data to analyse while you're actually working out. So the likes of Gustav Iden and Christian Blumenfeld, part of the Norwegian absolute hype training triathlon, did this, and you have to do it every single day. So you're literally putting up a heat probe up your asshole every day just so you can get a bodily temperature while you're working out. And yeah, as you can imagine, it's probably quite messy and it's not for the faint-hearted. But now, onto the dreaded nipple erosion. So if you ever wondered why the endurance world is full of absolute lycra-obsessed men, and no, it's not for those extra fashion points. It's because it prevents your body from slowly decomposing from constant abrasion. And I am not being over-dramatic with this now. Just look at some of the pictures on the screen of how disgustingly brutal erosion can be. Now, lycra is tight, it's stretchy, and it sits super snug to your body with very little excess material, unlike cotton or normal clothing, which does not. In a race, though, if you're really desperate, you can literally cut a hole in your top so your nipples poke through and the erosion stops. There is also probably a high likelihood that you can get done for indecent exposure, especially if you're a woman. I know it's not particularly fair, but it is what it is, isn't it? And you've got to sort of abide by some rules, so you can't be cutting too big of a hole, I don't think, in your top. But obviously, if it gets really bad, there's nothing else you can do. So yeah, you're stuck in a bit of a sticky one. But the good news is, if you don't like lycra and you're not one of these people that are like, yeah, lycra, let's rock it, then it's fine because you can just tape your entire body. Although it is a faff, it's complicated, and if you've got super hairy arms, chest, legs, the whole shebang, the tape doesn't stick, so you have to shave everything, which then creates even more problems. So honestly, just rock the lycra, embrace it, and it's not too bad. This now leads perfectly onto the cling film bin bag and newspaper hack to stay warm. So lycra is very thin and does not in any circumstance provide you with any warmth on a cold day. It is just thin. You may as well be wearing nothing, trust me. But if you're racing and you don't want to put excess clothing on, because honestly it's an aerodynamic drag and it's going to slow you down, especially when you're moving at those real fast paces that sort of the top guys are going at. What you'll see athletes do to combat this, and this isn't just pro athletes, you'll see people of all ages and sort of abilities do this, is that they'll literally wear a bin bag or wrap themselves in cling film and even shove newspaper down their tops. Provide good insulation and stop the heat from escaping the body. It's pretty cheap, easy, effective, and it just gets the job done. Now, a good example of this was at the 70.3 World Championships at the weekend, where pretty much every single athlete had themselves caked in some form of like bin bag, cling film, tape, anything to keep themselves warm. And you'll also see this in World Tour cycle racing. On top of this, you'll see a lot of people do not have a full set of nails, as in their toenails are a mess, as if they stood on a landmine. There is going to be blisters, pop blisters, everything. And I'm not talking about a little thing, I'm talking like this. This is what I mean. Yeah, I know, absolute filth, but honestly, it just is what it is. Honestly, there's so much weird things that go on behind closed doors in sort of the endurance world, and this is only scraping the surface. Now, if you enjoyed this video, drop it a like, subscribe to the channel. I think it was pretty interesting and informative, and gave you a true insight to what truly goes on. So yeah, if you've got any questions, drop them down below. And yes, we've got some juicy content coming your way, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.